How are things going with our side quest situation? Sit down, grab a cup, because I've got all the tea. And if you're new, this post is for you too. Our timeline begins in June 2024 when I found out about a highly concerning eminent domain situation happening right here in Brighton, Colorado. Our protagonist is a woman named Debbie Palizzi, owner of Palizzi Farms, a family farm that's been in operation for nearly 100 years. Their bad luck began in 2022 when a developer named Jack approached Debbie and offered her $75,000 to lay pipe across her property. She basically told him no to get out of town and to pound sand. Well, that didn't go over well with Jack. Now Jack, being the type of man that doesn't like to take no for an answer, positioned himself atop a Metropolitan District as president and then brought in his developer friends in order to use a public arm in order to serve his private interests. I'll explain. You see, eminent domain must be used for a public good, and Jack, being a private developer, realized that where there's a will, there's a way. So now Jack, operating as the Metropolitan District, approached the City of Brighton council members in September of 2023 to request the power of eminent domain to lay his pipe across Debbie's land against her will. While under oath, when questioned by the council members on the impact that the pipe would have to the farm's property, responses were given that made it seem like there would be no negative impact whatsoever and that the farm would be able to continue operating just as they always had. And of course, you can always trust a private developer using a public entity to advance his own agenda instead of the public's. So the council members atop the City of Brighton approved Jack's request. The developers, Parkland Metropolitan District's request for eminent domain on Debbie of Palizzi Farms. This will prove to be a big mistake because you see, none of the council members thought to ask if the private property owner Debbie of Palizzi Farms was aware or involved or had even been consulted on the impact to her farm. Instead, they just took Jack's word, the Metropolitan District's word, for it. And surprise, surprise, it turns out that the testimony given regarding the impact to the farm wasn't entirely true. In fact, by laying the pipe through Debbie of Palizzi Farm's property, the farm will be rendered completely inoperable. Oopsie doopsie. So you can imagine Debbie's surprise when in February 2024 she learned that the Metropolitan District, Jack, was granted eminent domain approval when she received an immediate access notification letter letting her know that they would need immediate access to her property to lay that pipe so that they could stay on track with their plans for an apartment complex. Debbie immediately lawyered up, and in May of 2024, they pushed back on the need for immediate access, and it now sits in front of a judge to determine whether or not the developer, Jack, the Metropolitan District, will get access to her property through eminent domain. Fast forward to June 2024, and that's where I come in. On June 4th, a meeting was held in the City of Brighton, where myself and many others spoke directly to the council members regarding our great concern for the fact that the power of eminent domain had recently been granted to Jack, the Metropolitan District, under false pretense. Just a tiny little lie that's the difference between life and death for a family farm. No biggie. Here's a clip of my commentary.
Hello. My name is Terralyn Romero. I drove over an hour to be here tonight, and I did not plan on speaking, so we're going to wing it. The first thing I want to do before I... Yep. Ridge, Colorado. Yep. Before I address the council members, I would like to acknowledge each and every person in the room here today. Do not stop. Do not relent. Do not become complacent. What you are doing works. Public pressure works. In fact, it is the only thing that I have seen work in this country. Do not stop. I am so damn proud of you and proud to stand here and speak in front of the council members of Brighton. To this, I inform you that I am a property rights advocate that was thrown into battle with Jefferson County. I was at risk of having my backyard taken for the needs of a community who wanted a park. And when I tell you here today that I am sick and tired of seeing entities, building developers claim a need when it is a want at the expense of people good people, good families, and individuals like Palizzi Farms, it is infuriating. Regardless of whether or not an apartment complex is needed, what I can tell you, or what I bet is true, is that the developing company does not need to put a pipeline directly through Palizzi Farm. They may want to do that because the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, but frankly, they can figure out a workaround. I understand that they've had plans for quite a while involving Palizzi Farm, and I'm sick and tired of entities using private property as part of their plans without including those private entities in the development of the plans and ensuring that they are not harmed, to which I understand all of you may have voted in approval of the eminent domain plans by the developer under false pretense that it would not harm the farm. In fact, we have found that it is in complete destruction and detriment to the farm and of complete negative impact. On this merit alone, the approval for eminent domain should be revoked. The developer has shown no good faith for the community, no concern for the farm, Palizzi Farm, and their family and their livelihood. They have no business doing business here with that type of ethics. Please revoke their approval, and thank you.
Unfortunately, despite all our public outrage, the city attorney informed us during the meeting that there was nothing they could do to reverse the granting of eminent domain power, even though it was given under false pretense. How convenient. So naturally, immediately after, I began to get to work banging the drum. You know, getting loud about the injustices people are facing each and every day at the hands of a government that is either corrupt or overreaching, and in some cases both. Since doing so, over 100 of you from all over the world have sent me emails asking how you can help bang the drum for Debbie and Palizzi Farms. Leveraging the power of the people, we immediately began to email all Brighton City Council members to express our complete disgust at what was happening and demand accountability, that they fix the problem that they caused. Not too long after our email campaign, we began to hear from the mayor of Brighton City, Gregory Mills. Pause to read and see if you can spot all the problematic components in this communication from the mayor. Extra credit for those who see the issue in the last paragraph. We haven't heard from him anymore since calling him out to let him know that that was not good enough. But then we started to hear from another council member, Peter Padilla. And oh boy, did he pull an Amber Heard on the bed. Peter made the grave mistake of trying to gaslight all of us in a post where he elevated the offer from the developer and made it seem as though the offer was generous and that Debbie of Palizzi Farms was being difficult. When called out on it, he mentioned that he was just operating based on the facts given to him at the time and that it was now out of his hands, and that furthermore, since some social media personality had shared his post and blown up the whole issue, he would only be responding to members from Brighton. I'm not sure how he would confirm if an individual was or wasn't from Brighton, but it was very clear to us that he was sending the message that he does not care about our opinions or our concern or our passion for property rights if we don't live in his immediate area. Peter. That's not how this works, and the fact that you managed to say that publicly with your full chest shows an enormous lack of comprehension for the enormity of the issue and the precedent that this sets for property rights everywhere. Thank you very much. Naturally, the Flying Monkeys, aka the Besties, descended to roast and toast Peter for making those comments. And since then, Peter has been hiding like a coward behind cover photo changes and refusing to respond to anyone on the issue. But not to worry, Peter, there is still an opportunity and a chance to do the right thing and show us that you are a man of integrity. Not only are we waiting for you to do it, but we're rooting for you to do it as well, because what this case does not have is a good guy. Surely there must be someone sitting on the Council of Brighton that feels that not only was this a monumental mistake, but they're committed to fixing it and doing the very best that they can. We do have, on that note, one representative named Matt Johnston who has made some comments regarding the issue that are in line with that thinking, but we'd like to see more. So Matt, if you see this and you're listening, give it to us. And encourage your colleagues to do the same, because that's really all we're asking for. It's not rocket science. But because we can't hold our breath when it comes to politicians acting with integrity and doing the right thing, especially when it comes to mistakes and problems that they created, I have also been banging the drum on the radio. There have been 2 radio appearances thus far, with more in the works and lots happening behind the scenes, of course. You wouldn't think your girl was just doing social media, would you? Anyway, that's all the tea for now, with much more to come. And if you're still here, put a corn symbol in the comments section, because corn is the produce that the Palizzi Farm family is known for, so that I know you watched the whole thing. Oh yeah, and email me too, so we can bang the drum even louder. Bye for now.